Hello students, let us enter into the one more session of probability. It's a session 6 of our chapter number 5. Today mostly we are going to see theoretical part of this chapter, and my intention is to complete all the theoretical part of this probability. Some very important topic I am going to tell you so that we can wind up all the theories, and then in a coming session we are going to do a lot of questions of a different exercise. So take out page number 36. One very important topic is, and that topic is totally away from the previous topic. Earlier I told you definition of probability, even I told you limitation of probability. There were some laws of addition of probability. Now something new, totally new is conditional probability. There is a lot of explanation, lot of theory behind conditional probability, but usually what I tell to the student of a class 12 that you just remember that definition. The word conditional probability means it's not a normal probability. In a normal probability, what we do? The formula is m by n. So number of favorable event divided by total number of event or outcome. But here conditional probability means some extra condition will be given with the probability. For example, if you are dealing with some events in which some extra condition is given, then we use that new formula. Formula I will be telling you. First of all, let us see new situation. When we deal with the probability given us some extra condition. For example, lot of examples are coming in my mind. Let us share one or two examples. For example, if you come out from your house, condition of probability of raining when you come out of the house is 50-50. When you see the sunshine outside your room or outside your home, then probability of raining will be very less. Even I say 0. If totally sunshine, no cloud, then probability of raining is 0. But suppose slightly cloudy, then probability of raining will be increase. If lot of clouds you find outside the room, then probability of raining is going to be increased. So see, the event is same. What is that event? Event is raining outside our house. But see how its probability changes according to the condition. What is that condition? If cloudy weather, then probability of raining is more. If it's a totally sunshine, the probability is less. So whenever we add some extra condition in any event, whenever we add some extra condition, then we say conditional probability. In question, it will not be given to you to find conditional probability. They will simply say that find the probability. But when you read that question, you will come to know that some extra condition will be either given or is required to solve that such questions. So when question will come, I will be telling you. One more example is coming in my mind. One more example is, suppose any batsman of a cricket, this example it will be easy for you to understand. Suppose a new batsman, when he reaches to the crease, scoring of a century is very less. Very less means maybe 1% or maybe 10%. But once he reached to the 50, once he score a 50 run, then probability of getting century is more. Suppose he enter into the 90s, then scoring of a century is more. So see, as the condition changes, the probability or the probability of that situation also changes. So whenever with any event some extra condition is given, then such type of a probability is called conditional probability. Again I am telling you, don't go in very deep, just try to read that question carefully. If any extra condition is given with an event, we will be using the new formula. Formula I will be telling you. One more example is coming in my mind. Nowadays we are facing with the one big problem in our day-to-day life. There is a challenge of a coronavirus. What happens? when anybody is picked up from the any home seeing the symptoms of a corona, probability of having positive symptom is less. But when he is undergoing the test, suppose first test is negative, then probability of he is suffering from a coronavirus is less. But suppose he gets a positive symptom, then he is suffering from a coronavirus. So when he is picked up from the home, the probability of having a coronavirus is 50-50. But as the symptom shows the positive effect, then coronavirus is more, or the symptom of coronavirus is more. So event is same, suffering from that disease, but probability increases or decreases depending upon different types of a test. So this example nowadays we can use for a conditional probability. For example, if anybody is suffering from a cold, so probability of having coronavirus is very less. Maybe he can have a coronavirus or he may not. But as he undergoes the different types of a test, and suppose he get a positive test, then the probability of having a coronavirus is more. This is nowadays example which you can add in a conditional probability. But nobody is going to ask you definition of conditional probability. Simply you remember this formula. It's an article 1.6.1, page number 36. Heading is given conditional probability. Again in question they are not going to tell you to find conditional probability. You will have to read that question carefully. It will not be that type of question which we were dealing in the earlier part of the chapter. But we are going to go for a first of all formula. There is no particular statement given in your book for definition of conditional probability. By chance 1 marks question comes that define conditional probability. So how will you define? Probability of any event B in presence of A. How you are going to read? Say P for probability, B that event whose probability we are going to find, A is that event who can affect the probability of B. So how I usually read? Probability of B event in presence of A, otherwise probability of A event in presence of B. And see that formula is, it is equal to probability of A intersection B divided by probability of A. How I remember? Probability of A intersection B will be numerator in both the formulas. But in denominator, whatever you find here below, that you write it in a denominator. Probability of B in presence of A is equal to probability of A intersection B divided by probability of A. Similarly, probability of A in presence of B. So numerator will be same in both the cases. Probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B. 1 marks question, write the definition, no need of using any statement. Simply you write this formula. Side by one condition is, you know in mathematics denominator cannot be equal to 0. So side by you will have to write this two condition. For a first formula, probability of A cannot be 0. Otherwise that quantity is not defined. Here also probability of B cannot be equal to 0. So come on. We are entering into the last part of this particular chapter, last theoretical part of this particular chapter, conditional probability. Definition wise, probability of any event in presence of other event is equal to probability of intersection of two events divided by probability of that event which affects the first event. This is that general formula. So remember this two general formula. Now second last topic of this particular theoretical part of this particular chapter is independent event. There are many questions in your textbook related to independent event. Suppose probability of A in presence of B is independent of B. Name itself tells you the meaning. Now no doubt it's a part of conditional probability, but suppose A is not affected by B, then probability of A is equal to probability of A in presence of B. Then two events, A and B events, are said to be independent event. So one of the formula is this one. Other formula is, a probability of B is equal to probability of B in presence of A. Then these two events are said to be independent event. One more condition is given. In exercise, in many questions, we are going to use this formula. But from where we got this formula, wait for one more topic. As soon as I complete that topic, I'll be telling you from where we got this particular formula. See, one more important law is, earlier I told you law of addition of a probability. Now here we got law of multiplication of probability. This is last topic of our this particular chapter, law of multiplication of probability. When you cross multiply this denominator with the left hand side quantity, whatever it comes, I tell the student to remember in this way, nothing new. When you cross multiply this PA with probability of B in presence of A, you will get probability of A intersection B. Similarly, you cross multiply probability of B with probability of A in presence of B, then again you will get probability of A intersection B. These are the two statements. Then this is called law of multiplication of probability. Name is new, but nothing is new. Just you cross multiply this denominators with the left hand side values. Then whatever the formula comes, that formula is for law of multiplication of probability. But just now I told you what is independent even, when probability of A is equal to probability of A in presence of B. So as soon as you keep this value in this law of multiplication of probability, immediately what you will get, probability of A intersection B is equal to probability of A and probability of B in place of this, because now it's an independent event. Similarly here probability of B in presence of A. So new condition for two events to be independent event. It comes from the law of multiplication of probability. And there are many questions, and it's like a regular question in a board exam. When probability of A intersection B is equal to product of PA into PB. Just see that formula in your textbook, page number 37. Probability of A intersection B is equal to PA into PB. Suppose if I say, prove that two events are independent event. Don't go for anything. Find the probability of A, find the probability of B, then find the probability of common between these two events. Put it in the left hand side and right hand side their value. If both are equal, then we can say easily that two events are independent event. No need of going for a literature meaning. If any two events satisfy this particular condition, then we say that two events are independent event. And the last part of this chapter theoretical is article 1.62, article 1.61, article 1.63, this one, article 1.6.4. These four articles, whenever you prepare for exam, prepare it together. All are interdependent on each other. That's why I took all the four theories together in this particular session. After completing these all theoretical part, then we'll be left with the questions, and most of the questions are repeatedly comes in a board exam. So come on, last part of this particular chapter theoretically is article 1.6.1 was conditional probability, article 1.6.2 was independent events, article 1.6.3, which I have not written, article 1.6.3, law of multiplication of probability, that already I told you. Together winding up these two, and then they are depending on a last article, it's an article 1.6.4. Now there can be selection of events which will have two criteria. Selection of events with replacement. Replacement means when outcome is replaced, then we say that selection with replacement. Many times in a question, this word will be used. Read that question carefully, and if they say that, yeah, this event is selection with replacement, means options, whichever the option or whichever the event you are selecting, it can be replaced again, then we say that selection with replacement. Surely it will be given in a question that that event is selection with replacement. Another event is just opposite to this, selection without replacement. I am telling you the difference between these two, but read that question carefully. Suppose if in question it is not mentioned, then you will have to go for both the options if question is for more than 2 marks. Now definition wise, otherwise meaning wise, what do you mean by selection with replacement? Suppose there are 10 balls in any container, in any utensils, there are 10 balls and you are asked to select any 5 balls. Suppose you are taking out 5 balls. When you are taking 5 balls and suppose 5 balls are red and 5 are black, and suppose 5 balls are taken out from that particular utensil and you are taking out one by one. When you take out first ball, red ball, then there are 5 balls of red. So probability will be 1 by 10 when you are taking out the red balls. Now suppose if you are dealing with selection with replacement means you take out that ball, suppose if it is a red ball, you observe it, again you put it in a container and then again you put a hand and take out the ball again. It means that it is selection with replacement. So what are the two conditions for this? There is no change in total outcome. What does it mean? The total outcome will be always 10 when you take out the ball from that utensil, which contains already 10 balls. So total number that is in formula of any event, probability of A is equal to m by n. N remains constant when selection is done with replacement, and there is no possibility. Repetition is possible. There is possibility of repetition. Why? Because if you are putting up that ball again inside that container, that ball can come again in outcome. For example, if you are taking out card, suppose there are 52 cards, n is equal to 52. If you are taking out any card, suppose that card is a spade with king, okay, you observe that card. What is the probability of getting spade with the king? Suppose 1 by 52. Now if they say that take out another card and that event is selection with replacement, it means that you put that card again in that particular pack. It means that n will be again 52. So there is a chance of repetition of the spade of a king again when you select a second card. So this type of event is called selection with replacement. One more is, read that question carefully. Some 4 marks question in the last exercise, Mason's exercise. Some more 4 marks questions are there where they are using these words. So you will have to read, and it's a general question, and suppose if it is a 4 marks, then you will have to put up both the conditions. Then while solving the question, you will have to deal with both the conditions. Last one is, and the last theoretical part is selection without replacement. The word itself tells you the meaning. Again, example is same. Suppose I am taking out the card. Somebody is asking me to take out one card, and suppose that card is again spade as well as king card. So its probability is 1 by 52. But when I am taking the second card and replacement is not allowed, without replacement, it means that now in a second, when we are drawing a second card, it means that now total event will not be 52, but total event will be 51. It means that total outcome is going to decrease, and there is no chance of repetition because already you have taken that card. So when you draw the second card, there is no chance of repetition. So suppose theoretically question comes, differentiate between a selection with replacement, selection without replacement. So you can say in this way, in first case total number of outcome will be always constant. In second case, total number of outcome is going to be changed, and it decreases as many times as you are going to use that event. If you are doing that event many times, its total outcome is gradually going to change. One more difference is, here repetition is possible because that event again you are including in your outcome. Here repetition is not possible. So in this way, today in this particular important session, we are completing all the theoretical part. Now we are going to do many questions on this particular article as well as previous articles. Now let me support. Now as I told you some of the formulas or some of the theoretical part of this session, to support that formulas and a theoretical part, One question I have selected from exercise 1.4, page number 48. Today one easy question, then in coming session we are going to do harder questions and more marks question. But first of all, just to support that formula, how to recognize that question and how to use that formula I am telling you. So one easy question I have selected from that exercise 1.4. Question number 5, some datas are already given, and again I am telling you this type of question comes in exam for 2 marks. So probability of A is given 2 by 3, probability of B is given 3 by 5. As soon as you will see this, you will realize that we are going to deal with the conditional probability. So probability of B in presence of A is also given 3 by 4. And what is that question? Find the value of probability of A in presence of B. So given probability of B in presence of A 3 by 4, go for the definition of conditional probability. If you don't want to go for a definition of conditional probability, then use multiplication rule. It's your choice. Usually this formula is remembered by the student. So probability of B in presence of A is given, probability of A is given, just you cross multiply. So probability of A intersection B is equal to probability of B in presence of A multiplied by probability of A. It's a multiplication rule also, just like I told you in theoretical part. Now to find probability of A intersection B, immediately question arises, why we are finding probability of A intersection B? That I will be telling you, because to find probability of A in presence of B, we require this value. It is not asked, but we require this in this particular formula. So come on, how to find probability of A intersection B? Put the corresponding values. 3 by 4 in place of probability of B in presence of A. In place of probability of A, 2 by 3. Just cancel it, you will get 1 by 2. 1 by 2 is probability of A intersection B. Now what is that question? Unknown quantity is probability of A in presence of B. So use that definition of conditional probability. Probability of A in presence of B is equal to probability of A intersection B, which we found purposefully. So probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B. Now A intersection B, just now we found 1 by 2. Then probability of B is given in our datas 3 by 5. You calculate this, 5 will go in the numerator and 3 into 2 will be 6. So this is answer of this question. Intentionally I selected easy question for today's explanation. In our coming session we will be doing some harder and important questions. Thank you.